Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you how to search Microsoft 365 SharePoint using Microsoft.Graph PowerShell module. In the previous video, we looked into how to call Graph REST API from PowerShell, but we used invoke REST method here. But this time we'll be using Microsoft.Graph module. Actually, if we go to Graph API documentation and to search how to make a query, you can see that there are some examples for different languages, platforms. And if we go to PowerShell, Microsoft gives us example that use Microsoft.Graph module. So let's do the same here. I'll need two modules installed under Microsoft Graph Authentication and Search. So let me check. Do I have? Yes. And I already specified client ID, certificate thumbprint, and tenant ID separately. And that's what I would need to authenticate to Graph using Microsoft Graph module with application permissions unattended. Well, how to get client ID, how to register application, how to provide proper permissions to applications. Again, we discussed in previous videos. So if you need it, please check description for links to previous videos. So this time we'll just searching with Graph API. Okay, so let me authenticate, and I'm authenticated. Well, the minimum permissions required to make search calls is read all sites, but that literally gives me permissions to read all the SharePoint content. For example, I can just get sites, not to search through sites. But to search, Microsoft shares with us this kind of object we need to call Graph API. And you can see that we specified here drive item as entity types. That's basically libraries content. And I can specify query. So for this call, I would just search for lorem. And if I search with application permissions, region must be specified. After that, I would just invoke Microsoft Graph query search request with parameters I've just created. Let me run it, and the call was successful. So let me see how many results we got. 12 results. Let me get first 5. Yes, I got first 5. And let me see details of the first result so I can see what are the properties of this object. I definitely recommend you to explore this object. For example, under resource and additional properties, we can see some properties of that result, like who created, when this item was created, and so on. And let me check if there are more results available false. So I got all the available results, 12. And let me check total, it's 12. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, that's probably it for application search. Let's switch to delegated search. For delegated search, I would need slightly different credentials for authentication. So this time I'll be authenticating as a user. So if I run this, I need different client ID, differently configured application. So let me run this. And there must be a pop-up window somewhere on my computer. No, I just recently authenticated, so it took token from cache. But what if I specify something like force authentication? Do we have force authentication? I'm not seeing re-authenticate or something like this. No, I'm not seeing. What I can do is I can probably disconnect Microsoft Graph. Yeah, and now I disconnected, and let me reconnect again. Yeah, so now we have a pop-up window. So I'm authenticating, and that's okay. I just authenticated. And now let me do the same, but this time I included list items as additional entity types. There are 5 entity types for SharePoint, including drives, which are libraries, and also sites and lists. But here I'm searching just through lists content and libraries content. I'll be searching for anything starting with T, and I need to return only 2 fields, so I don't need entire object to be returned. So I don't need all the fields, I need only 2. And last time I got 12 results, so let's see how many results I'll get this time. Let me run it. And I get 50 results. So if I remove this and run it again, I'll get 25 results. That's default behavior. So let me return 50. Well, the idea is if you search for something, you might get a lot of results, right? But Microsoft.Graph will not return to you everything upon one request. Instead, Microsoft returns to you just first something, and if you need more, you can organize like while loop, and in this loop you would make more queries. Like next query would look like this. That's called paging. What else? Yeah, so let me check if there are more results. Definitely. And how many results in total? Yeah, 32,000 result. That's not what you want to get upon one request. It would be too slow. Okay, now let me check what are the results. And if I explore just one of them in a detailed way, I can see that, yeah, not all properties returned, but just 2 that I requested. And I can go to details, like who created this object. So yeah, I got the object was created by Johan. Yeah, that's the basics. Probably you can explore more, but yeah, that's it for this video. Take care. Bye.